Hello everyone, welcome to a modern video. So the ban list dropped today at the time of this recording, and modern was left untouched, which is nice because Grand Prix Columbus is 4 days away, and I didn't want to have to learn a new deck. So Urza and every component of it survived the ban. I am coming off the Star City Invitational that happened yesterday at the time of this recording, and I went 6-2 in modern with this 75. Both of my losses were to Infect, which is a low incidence bad matchup. I was just kind of unlucky to play against it twice, but I beat everyone else I played against. And this deck's real sweet. This is the Lotus Box adaptation of Simic Urza. Notable changes is this one right here. Karn the Great Creator. So War of Invention is gone, Thopter's gone, Sword's gone. That combo is gone from the deck. This is now just a straight up value Planeswalker control deck. And the combo finish, instead of being a 3-card combo of Urza, Sword, and Foundry, now you just need Karn and you get Lattice, and then the game is over. So they smartly figured out that this kind of stopped being a combo deck when they went on to 4 Okos. It's just a value control deck that wins in a combo-like fashion once the coast is clear. And they've condensed the 5-card package into a 3 1-card package. 3 copies of a single card that wins the game. So really smart deck building decisions there. Over the weekend, Everflowing Chalice and Witching Well were the worst cards in the deck by a lot, but you do need some artifacts in the main to turn on your Metalcraft and such. They get boarded out in basically every matchup, but if there are flex slots, these are them. The rest of the deck felt awesome, and I'm excited to run it. Let's do it. Well, we're on the draw with a straight up no-lander, so that's an easy mulligan. Oh, this hand is awkward AF. I'm going to keep it, though, and bottom one of my Mystic Sanctuaries. I can use Mishra's Bauble plus this fetch land as kind of a scry one. Let's see where this goes. Hope we don't get just run over by some nonsense. Oh, God. Okay, we didn't get discard spelled. That's good. I don't think I could ever beat that. Though that does make me want to leave this Bauble in play. In case they have a discard spell. So I'll end step, target myself with Bauble, and make a decision. They might have like Thalia here. Trying to figure out what a black-white deck would be doing right now. Like Bitter Blossom? What year is it, if that's the case? Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, that's a reasonable 2-drop for a white deck to have. That thing's legal now. Getting Sword of Fire and Ice. Alright, so let's take a look at my own top card. It's Gilded Goose. Yeah, I'm into Gilded Goose. It might just eat a removal spell, but it's also the mana development we're looking for. There's that Cursed Witching Well. So the Goose is loose. Player enters the battlefield tapped land with no abilities. So if they don't kill my Goose and I draw an untapped land, basically any land except Mystic Sanctuary, I can slam Karn or Urza and be pretty happy with my spot. If they kill my Goose, I'll be in a lot of trouble. It looks like Goose is going to survive. Come on, land. That counts. X is 0. So I could slam Karn and make sure their sword doesn't get active. But Urza is just way better, because Urza also casts Witching Well for free. Alright, Urza's in there. Emery. I don't think that I'm interested in Emery at this stage of the game. Certainly not two of them. Yeah, I'm just swinging for the fences with Karn. Especially knowing that they have sort of Fire and Ice in hand. Like, Emery does not line up well against that card. Can't even chump block, and then it dies to the shock. Construct does a good job bricking sword. If they just also just have Batterskull in their hand, okay, that's fine. Construct can soak up that hit also. I mean, I'll just take 4 if they attack, but if they like land, bring in sword, equip, then I have to chump with Construct. Alright, now the question, now that I've said all that, do I have to chump with Construct? If they deal a bunch of damage to me, they draw a card, and they kill my goose, then what happens? And I can 1, 2, 3, 4 cast Karn. What's in my sideboard? I can get Ensnaring Bridge, but not cast it. Pithing Needle, missed the mark on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to take this attack now while I can. Because if I like block now, then I just won't have any blockers next turn to protect my Karn. Take my beats. I kind of like that they shocked my Goose here instead of me, because Goose doesn't have any food to eat. It's just a 0/2 creature. Alright, I can explode the germ, so that's pretty insane, actually. I didn't think about that. Oh, I can also plus on the equipments, and then they fall off. That's even better. Alright, so if I plus on Sword of Fire and Ice, it becomes a 3/3 creature, it falls off, and it can never come back on. Alright, sweet. Now I think we're doing it. And if I need to blow the explosives for 0, I can clear out this germ. It'll also take Mox Opal and Construct with it, but probably worth it. Now, Karn is messed up. That's a powerful magic card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if they don't pressure Karn, I just get Lattice next turn. And if they do pressure Karn, at this point I'm pretty happy to trade Construct for Germ. Because then the Batterskull is just stuck in play forever. They can't bounce it, they can't re-equip it. Urza can block the Sword of Fire and Ice, I don't care about that. That's like some removal spell would be pretty annoying. Lingering Souls. Pretty sure I don't care about that one. Especially since I have this Engineered Explosive sitting in play. Okay, so what happens if I blow my explosives? I'm not going to do that because I want to hold on to Mox Opal, and that represents 2 mana because of Urza. So I'll just block with Construct. Hold Who's this attacking? This is attacking Karn. So if I just let Karn take 4... No, I'm definitely going to block. I could knock the Batterskull off with Karn next turn, but then they have a 5/5 for a turn instead of just nothing. And I would prefer them to have nothing. I think that's a reasonable position to take there. Alright, so we drew another mana source. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I wish for Lattice, then I will have 1 mana available. I lose Karn. I don't think that's the target. Maybe I do get it. Maybe I get Ensnaring Bridge. Maybe I just play another Urza. So if I go 1, 2, blow up explosives, that'll clear out their junk. I do have this second Karn, though. That's kind of exciting. Oh, I was just... For some reason, I was thinking that Karn goes to 2 if I make this play. I forgot I've plussed it already. So this is just a pretty easy slam here. Alright, so now their permanents don't work. Alright, we should just win now. I guess on board they can pressure the Karn, but if I have literally anything, which I do, then they lose. Sorry that took so long to figure out. I was just convinced that Karn was going to go to 2 and die to these spirits, but that is clearly not the case. Alright, to the sideboard we go. Alright, so Fatal Push and Thoughtseize seem pretty good. Killing the... Like, Thoughtseizing an equipment or killing the Stoneforge Mystic before they do anything is pretty exciting. So, like I said, Witching Well and Everflowing Chalice just always get boarded out. In grindy matchups, especially grindy matchups with white mana, though the white mana matters less here because they're an artifact deck themselves. But anytime I think my opponent might have Stony Silence, I cut at least 1 Opal, sometimes 2. But they probably don't have that card since they're an equipment deck. So Drown in the Loch and Assassin's Trophy are options. It's just, what am I going to cut for them if I'm doing that? And do I want to go full transformation? So, like, you can bring in these 8 cards and just become a Sultai control deck. Or you can just continue to be the artifact combo deck and bring in just a few of them. Probably don't need 4 Emrys in this matchup. They also don't seem like they put a lot of cards in their own graveyard, so Drown might be unreliable. Especially like turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, they might have like a fetch land in their graveyard. I'm definitely not going to be able to counter that when I need to. So Trophy is the last option. Do I want Trophy? Trophy might be better than a Rebuke, especially since we're on the draw. Like if they get Stoneforge Mystic down under our Rebuke, then they just don't cast spells anymore. They activate Stoneforge Mystic. So having a Trophy seems fine. And the rest of this stuff all looks fine too. If they show me a more problematic permanent than they have in game 1, I'll bring in the other trophy for game 2. Or game 3. Alright, so we're on the draw, and we have turn 1 Astrolabe plus Goose, or turn 1 double Goose, depending on how we want to run it. I'm probably going to do the Astrolabe because I don't have a snow basic forest. Okay, now I can get the snow mana next turn. I think I'm just going to go double Goose. Alright, so this goose is loose. Brings an artifact with it. Then I have this artifact. And this artifact, which is Metalcraft. And Regoose. So if we draw Urza or Karn, we just have a turn 2, 4 mana, big dumb spell. And if we don't draw a 4-drop, we have Astrolabe to rebuy, Assassin's Trophy to buy some time. If they push one of these gooses, I don't even really care. Stony Silence would be brutal here, but like that's part of their deck too, so I don't know. But we have the trophy, so it doesn't even matter. Okay. Largely Irrel. We're still just going to turn to Oko. So I think I'm going to Astrolabe and Oko since this deck is dumb. Let's get the rebuy. Then blue. Oh, I guess I need a blue mana. All right, what's happening here? Blue, green. All right, this does cast. And since Mox Opal is already not a functional permanent, might as well make it an Elk. This draw right here is flexing the power of this deck. Like, they have the most potent sideboard card that exists in the format against traditional Urza, and we just DGAF. They're going to get something here, and I'm just going to push their Stoneforge Mystic. So Oko makes a food. I could also trade Engineered Explosives for their Stoneforge Mystic, but that's less funny. I could have gotten more aggressive here, like make a food with left goose, make a mana with right goose, and then animate Engineered Explosives. That might have been a better play. Inquisition of Kozilek. So I can't a trophy in response, so they're just gonna get my trophy here. The Stony turning off the Astrolabe keeps them safe. Robert Confidant. All right. Engineered Explosives again. I think I want that Dark Confidant. Yoink. Oh, that's messed up. And the game is over. That was quick and easy. All right, so we're on the draw with a one-lander, but it's a one-lander with turn 1 Emery. I'm going to keep this and hope to God we don't get Inquisition of Kozilek. Because boy does this castle crumble if we lose our Mox Opal or our Emery. Ooh, Tron. All right. Okay, so now we still have turn 1 Emery, but we also get to cast an Astrolabe along the way. Wow, it's getting dumber. We hit another bauble. So explosives. I'm not going to play the explosives because there's no reason to. I'm going to bauble them though. Chalice of the Void. Okay, that's a reason to play explosives. Yeah, I'll just get that into play now. So they're more likely Eldrazi Tron than Classic Tron if they have Engineered Explosives in their deck. There it is. That's why I played the Chalice on 0. Alright, so they're going to have Tron. Alright, but I'm going to have Oko. I'm going to get rid of the Chalice this way so I can keep some velocity going with Emery. Alright, so I can bobble them now. I guess I need to hit a mana source, so I will just bobble them now. Walking Ballista. Okay, hopefully they just use that to kill Emery. Though that means they can also use it to kill Oko. So they can Ballista for 3. They can pick off Oko this turn or Emery. Let's see what they think is more important. They could also just like jam Big Karn, I guess, which would also be pretty solid. If I can sneak this Urza into play, though, I think we're going to be in a good spot. If I can sneak Urza in and hold up this Cryptic command. Though that does require hitting my land drop. Ooh, Reality Smasher. I'm so glad they decided to do that instead of any of their other options. It makes Oko dead, but that's okay. Mana source. Alright, cool. We hit the land. Alright, so what's the best way to play this? I think just getting Opal makes the most sense. Or Bobble. I meant Bobble. So I'm holding up Cryptic Command right now. I can't sneak Goose in here. I could cast Karn, but I think I'd rather do that next turn. Just take my beats from Reality Smasher. Though, it's not even a good attack because I can just trade my Construct. Next turn I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. That's not quite Karn plus Lattice right away. Ooh, getting in with everything. And I'll make the obvious block and go to 9. They're playing like they have an Oblivion Stone or something, but like E-Tron doesn't play that card, so I don't know what's happening. It's just a giant Ballista. Alright, counter target spell, draw a card. Sounds pretty good to me. Oh, Rebuke is gas. Alright, so I'm going to play this second Bauble. Goose is free because it brings an artifact with it. And Urza can just tap the food for blue. Karn doesn't care what color we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. And I can just wish for Damping Sphere right now. And then I can wish for Lattice next turn, and my opponent is deceased. Alright, you're dead. That was nasty. Alright. Alright, so sideboarding's pretty light here. We want the trophies and the Thought Seizes, because those can kill big things. Engineered Explosives barely does anything. And 4 Opals against the deck with 4 Chalice. And the matchup could get grindy. Like, you never want to draw 2 Opals. So, pretty light stuff here. I want to leave all the Damping Spheres and everything in the sideboard for the Karn package. Because a lot of their games, they just come out too fast for Damping Sphere to really be effective anyway. Like, if there's a spot where I want it, Karn will find it for me. Alright, my hand's kind of a clunker. You have to do better than this. This hand's great. I'm gonna bottom... I just want every one of these cards. I probably just ship the land. So I'm on the draw. Let's see. This is... Maybe I just ship the trophy because I have turn 2 Urza. Alright, yeah, I'm going to ship the trophy. I'm going to play my game and hope that theirs isn't as powerful. Chalice on 0 would slow me down a bit. Alright, there it is. Okay, so now I'm definitely going to Goose first. Maybe I didn't have turn 2 Urza. Maybe I just thought I did. I think in my brain I could cast Astrolabe and Goose on turn 1, but that's obviously not real life. Okay, so I can cast Astrolabe plus Emery this turn. Ooh, and I get to Thoughtseize them along the way. This is nasty. I'm going to Thoughtseize them with Astrolabe and decide if Emery now or Urza next turn is a better deal for me. Ooh, Thought Not Seer. And, oh, that's another power plant. Blast Zone is for 1. So I'm definitely taking this Thought Not Seer. Because I like my hand quite a bit. And I could cast Emery, or I could just not do that. Blast Zone doesn't kill Goose. Yeah, I'm just going to try to maximize this Urza. Just hope they don't draw the 3rd Tron piece, because then they can pick off my Goose for free and still have Ballista around. Alright, Blast Zone accounted for. Did they draw a spell? Alright, they found Tron for next turn. So next turn they can have a big Ballista if they want. But I will make sure to have something more powerful before then. This is kind of an anemic Urza, unfortunately. Ooh, I think Emery's better than Goose in this spot. Like, I could cast Goose or Emery here. If I cast Goose, it makes Construct bigger. But Emery takes longer to get online. So I'll leave Construct untapped and just cast Emery this way. Alright, hit 0 artifacts. Perfect. Just what I'm looking for out of an Emery. So they can cast Ballista for 4 next turn and pick off Urza. But I'm pretty okay with that exchange, if that's the case. Oh, they also have this Blast Zone. That's a reason not to run a second 1-drop out. Alright, let's see. Did they draw a bigger whammy than Walking Ballista? They have 1 unknown card in their hand. Wow, they drew Warping Whale. That's really good. Okay, Urza is exiled. Alright, so they can Ballista for 3 now if they want to as well. That could pick off Emery or a Construct. They probably want to do at least one of those things. Alright, we might be in trouble now. Oko is my best draw. If I can turn off this Chalice and actually get cranking with Emery, that would be a big deal. I mean, a replacement Urza, of course, would be a great draw. I can't cast it yet, but it would be nice to have in the tank. Speaking of the tank, alright, my opponent has finally decided they want to deploy their creature. I'm pretty sure Construct is the card you want to kill here. As if I just shove an artifact into play, it gets too big. Oh, they're going after Goose? That wasn't even on my radar of options. But okay. This Chalice has been really good. There are no artifacts in my graveyard, so I'm just going to attack for 4. They can put 2 more counters on Ballista, so yeah, we're in just a whole lot of trouble right now. Ooh, the Blast Zone. Alright, yeah, floating another color doesn't do anything. So, Goose and Astrolabe are gone. Okay, so they can block Emery now if I attack. Alright, they're not in the blocking business. They want to be clocking. Alright, let's just draw Oko right now and make a giant construct that they can't beat. Okay, so they're just spewing Walking Ballista. Okay, that makes sense, because that would have let me recast Astrolabe. Hey. We were saying. So now I have to decide if I want to turn my food into an Alk, or turn their Chalice into an Alk and play out my other artifacts. I think I'd rather do this first. Because we know at least one of the cards in their hand is dead. Reality Smasher would be a bummer. Maybe I should have left Construct back just in case. Yeah, right. Play to win. Ooh, Emery. Okay, so now I'm going to turn Chalice of the Void into an Elk. I'm going to play out all of these artifacts I've been holding on to. Second Emery, hit a whole graveyard full of gas. Beat down. I'm happy to trade either of these. That's fine. Let's take a look. Ooh, Karn the Great Creator is a good card. They have 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. That's enough to jam Lattice, but I have enough pressure to kill Karn. So, and Oko can answer any non-Lattice artifact. So this is interesting. This is going to come down to if they have any sweet technology in their sideboard or if it's just like Lattice. All right, so they played a second Waste. That's one of the mystery cards out of their hand. We know they have Karn and one unknown. And whatever the unknown is, they didn't play it last turn when they could have. Yep, here comes Karn. Let's see what the damage is. Like, I have Lattice Beat. I can Elk an Ensnaring Bridge. Pithing Needle, naming Oko is probably smart. Okay, so I'm going to attack Karn. Oh, Rechalice. Okay. So I have a graveyard full of Astrolabes that I can cast. So I'm not dead yet. Cast with multi-kicker of 1. Oh, wait. Can't cast that. It is always a 0-cost card no matter how many times you kick it. So, not going to run it into the Chalice. Almost. I was flirting with disaster there. So we're ahead, but they have a lot of big draws that could change the deal. Ooh, okay. JK. Now we win. So I can fetch for Mystic Sanctuary, put Cryptic Command on top of my deck, and then I can draw a card with Arkham's Astrolabe. And now I have Cryptic Command in my hand. And we're still beating down, and they are dead. GG. Alright, so we're on the draw with a hand that has turn 1 Astrolabe, turn 2 Emery. If we draw any 0-cost artifact, we can have turn 1 Astrolabe into Emery on turn 1. Like if we draw an Explosives or a Bauble, or even Everflowing Chalice, we can play it for 0 and have a turn 1 Emery plus Astrolabe. It's a pretty exciting hand. Oh god. We're playing against Gobos. This is gonna be fun. Gilded Goose. Does that change my decision at all? Yes. So... Or no, it doesn't. Playing Astrolabe now... Yeah, I need to get my snow mana. I don't have a path to a snow land if I lead on Goose. So I'm going to go Astrolabe first. See if we hit a 0. Alright. So I can Goose plus Emery next turn with a mana still open for Opal. Prospector is a pretty exciting start for them though, because if they're going to ramp into something messed up, that they can do it. Pretty sure Goblin Trash Master is modern legal. I hope they don't have that. Alright, the old turn 2 War Chief. Here come the beats. This one's going to be a race. Okay, Rebuke is a bad draw because they have the Cavern. So, is there any reason for me to take 2 damage here? Like, I could filter green off the Astrolabe and use Opal to cast Emery and not shock myself. I would definitely just shock myself if they didn't have Cavern, but I don't think there's any reason to do that, since they don't. Astrolabe in the graveyard. So, interesting choice here. I can play Mystic Sanctuary. I'm going to do that instead of Breeding Pool because I want to make sure that I can cast my 4-drop right on time. Like, if I play Breeding Pool this turn and then they, like, Tarfire my Gilded Goose, then I can't play Urza next turn. Alright. There's the Munitions Expert. I guess that's a better card than Tarfire. Easy block. It's a free attack, it's a free block. No surprises from anyone. Alright, cool. So drawing Polluted Delta means that I can fetch to put Cryptic Command on top of my deck in the future. So that line is available now. I am going to take 2 damage here to cast Urza without sacking my food. Because that makes Construct bigger. It means I can keep cranking out foods with Goose. Alright, and we're just going to hold on D for a little while here. I can Rebuke something if they have like some non-goblin spell. Don't know what they would have though, like a Dismember I could Rebuke, I guess. But I can't imagine they have Dismember when Munitions Expert exists. Oh no. Or, oh yes. If they go non-Cavern Land Munitions Expert. Alright, Tarfire. That is a non... Alright, so can I make a food and Rebuke this? So I would have to tap all 3 of my artifacts, so no, I'll just Rebuke it. But if I Rebuke it, they can attack. No, they still don't have... Oh, they do have a big attack. Maybe I just don't care about this. Do I care about this? So if I cast Rebuke, I have to tap my Construct to do it, which means that they get to just crunch with everything. I'm just going to let this die. I think blocking, soaking up damage is more important than keeping that Goose around. Ooh, Oko. Now we're playing the game. Alright, so if I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. That's not quite Karn. If I turn War Chief into an Elk, then their options get a lot worse. Yeah, they lose haste, they lose their mana advantage. They haven't they haven't played a land in several turns. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Spinning with Urza doesn't make any sense. I could stick Karn right now though. I think I'm just gonna do that. Alright, Mystic Sanctuary. Put Cryptic Command on top of my deck. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's Karn. Do I just go for the Lattice right now? So if they suicide attack Karn, he's still at 1. Yeah, I'm just gonna wish for that Lattice. Hope they don't play Thoughtseize. So that going for Lattice just sort of puts it on the table. It's like start attacking or you're dead. Let's see what they got. 2 mana to work with. Okay, so Munitions Expert was their best possible card. but it's still not that great. Sure. So they kill Karn. They're still just way behind on board. There's the Cryptic we knew we were drawing. So I think elking up this food makes the most sense. It makes Construct smaller, but it adds nets power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could cast the Lattice and still have mana to Cryptic Command because then everything's an artifact. Yeah, that just puts lethal on board. Wait, what just happened? Oh, I didn't click Urza. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's Lattice. Construct is enormous. I can cast Cryptic Command still and leave up a bunch of blockers. If they can't kill me or remove Lattice this turn, I can Cryptic Command a tap draw in their end step, and then I just crunch for a million. Ooh, they showed me Krenko. It's weird that they would play this untapped and show me Krenko, because they can't cast him because this is not a Goblin War Chief, it's an Elk. So they must have some 3-drop that's not a Goblin. Alright, so are they actually dead before I make this play? No. Alright, so I'm just going to hold off. Hopefully we just draw Karn and win. Ooh, a second Cryptic Man. Okay, now we can definitely tempo them out. So if I attack with Construct, alright, I'm going to make Astrolabe into an Elk. I'm not sure if it's still an artifact or not, honestly, with layering. As the Lattice was in play, Oko turns it into an Elk. Is it still an artifact, or is it now just a green Elk? Let's all find out together right now. Alright, looks like it is no longer an artifact based on timestamps. Alright, so I'm going to attack with everything. Or not Urza. I'm going to attack with my 3/3s and my 10/10. And then I can use Cryptic in their combat step if I need to. And then they should be dead to the next Cryptic. Here comes the squad. I imagine they'll trade War Chief for one of my Elks and then chump with Goblin Token on the Construct and take 3. Unless they want to take 13. Because I'm okay with that too. Alright. Deal. They probably should have blocked this Elk because it's also an artifact. Just a small percentage there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm just going to pass. I have double Cryptic Command up right now. I do have 8 mana. Can't imagine what they could have. Another Goblin dies. Deal 1 damage. Okay, so they're dead. Beginning of combat. I'm going to tap their team and draw. I have to click weird because because Lattice is in play. Lattice lets you pay for spells however you want. All right, now 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. And we're in there. Yeah, turning the opal into an elk adds 2 power to the board. We lose 1 from this, but we gain 3 for this, so it's net +2. All right, so against goblins, I think I just want all my removal spells. Just these 6 cards. I could see an argument for Thoughtseize, because if they have Cavern, then it's a lot worse. But that's a good argument against Rebuke. Witching Well on Chalice, just forever getting cut from the deck. That's a lot of Emeries, and that's a lot of Mox Opals. So we're just the Sultai control deck now. All right, we're on the draw, and our hand is totally fine. I'm not over the moon, but this is not a mulligan. Hopefully explosives can mop up some permanents at some point. Astrolabe plus Snowman is always good. Then we have the Urza on lock when we get there. The deck's full of mana, so having the payoff in the opener is good. We'll just nothing go. That's not what Goblins wants to do. Not even in Aether Vial. Okay. So I can cast this explosives for some number this turn if I want to. Okay, now I'm definitely casting explosives for 2 because I have a backup one in case they find another mana or another mana cost. I'm going to slower the opal. I don't want them to know I have it until I ram Urza next turn. So this is probably a War Chief. And then I get attacked for 5. Yup. Oko's exciting, but that's for next turn. Right now, I am ramming the Urza. And I can pop explosives for 2 on a whim. I could have cast Oko that turn, actually. Maybe that would have been good, but I'm okay leaving a little something in the tank here. So if they cast Munitions Expert, I just got to shred their whole board. All right, Ringleader. That's a powerful card. They have all these cards in their hand now. I don't think they're going to attack. Wow, was I wrong? Okay, opponent. Alright, well, I will make the obvious blocks. Boom. I take 0 damage, they lose 2 permanents. Alright, So I'm definitely casting Oko this turn, just deciding if I want to play this explosives or not. So the argument for not playing explosives is that I see this Karn-Za. I might need to explode for 0 in the near future. They could play War Chief and Crater Maker next turn. They missed their land drop last turn, so we have that going for us at least. So if I play Oko right now, 1, 2, 3. Food is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play explosives on 0, I can also spin Urza once. That sounds pretty good. So I make a food. I can trade this food for Karn-Za if they leave their guard down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get my last basic here. Urza. Keep the original. Get another construct. Alright, I'm here to smash. Alright, they found the land, so they can cast Karn-Za, if that's even good. They can also cast War Chief and Crater Maker and activate Crater Maker. Colorless non-land permanent. Okay, they didn't War Chief into it, which is kind of interesting. Not sure what their plan with that thing is. Alright, I'll play a Bauble, which will grow the constructs. So I could just trade for Ringleader right now. Trade my food for Ringleader and just go to Smash Town. 2 to a creature. That doesn't even seem good. They still have this War Chief and Karn-Za over there. Maybe I should just food up, or alk up my food. Let's see if I'm going to activate Urza before I do anything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's give Urza a spin. So we're doing that anyway. Might as well get the information. Ooh, Emery. So Crater Maker can kill Emery, but I think they need to kill Construct before they do that. So I'll hang Emery out here, try to let them have a bad choice. Okay, hit Drown in the lock. So now there's a spell in my graveyard that I can Mystic Sanctuary for. Alright, so I'm gonna elk up this food. Attack with these creatures. I'm going to let them make their blocks and everything before I put the Drown in the lock in my hand. Because I have Bauble, so I can put it on top and immediately draw it. So they're drawing Blood Crypt. Okay. Alright, they have 4 cards in their graveyard, which should kill any card in their deck. I can't counter anything, but I should be able to point and click remove whatever they got at this point. Matron. All right. It's go time. Is it time for Trash Master? War Marshal. Okay. All right. They're just buying time. Probably smart. But did they actually buy any time at all? Okay, so if I kill Ringleader, does that even do anything? I can just loop the Sanctuary, get Drown in the Lock again next turn, so it's mostly free to pick this thing off. Alright, I'm not going to blow my explosives because my construct is more important than their one token. Alright, so Emery will cast Bauble. I'll run this Goose out there because it's an artifact. I don't think I'm going to blow this Engineered Explosives basically ever at this point. Though they still have the Krenko. I might have to. No, because Construct is more important than all of that. Alright, Explosives. Welcome to Elk. Urza can attack this turn. Yeah, here they come. What? Oh, they're going to 1. Okay. Sanctuary. Put Drown in the Lock back on top. Get my extra card. It's another Crater Maker. That's a good one. But now that I can kill the War Chief, I don't have to worry about them attacking me for dead. So 1, 2, 3. They need a land to Krenko. I'm going to kill this pretty much as soon as I get priority. There's the Crater Maker. I think I missed an Urza activation last turn. Looks like I could have snuck one in there and still done everything else I wanted to do. Oh, whoops. Alright, so cast Bauble. Activate Urza. Play my land. Emery gets another Bauble. His Emery has just drawn like 500 cards this game, roughly. So I'm going to Elk something. It's probably Astrolabe. No, it's got to be this food. Food's easier than Astrolabe. I'm just going to ram with the team. I guess I can take a look before combat at what they're going to draw. Cavern of Souls. Okay. Not particularly afraid of that card. Oh, they're at 1. Yeah. Definitely just ramming with the team. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They block everything and shoot the construct with Crater Maker. Oh, if I didn't tap Emery, I would have lethal. That was pretty bad. Hope they can't punish me. Alright, construct is deceased. So are all of their permanents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could spin Urza again. Or I could draw another card. I'm going to look at my own deck. See if I want this card. Karn. I don't think Karn's going to be helpful this game. But do I fetch? 1, 2, 3. I don't have food. So if I draw Cryptic Command off the second bauble, then I won't be able to cast it because I'll have to shock because all my basics are in play. Whatever, I'll just draw Karn. I can make a food and then also eat it, so I'm at 15. All right, they didn't have it. Now I've just outvalued the Goblins deck. Currently 3-0-6-0, working our way through this league. All right, so we're on the play. Our hand is kind of top heavy, but it's got a cantrip, an Astrolabe, and a payoff. So I'm going to keep it. We're playing against Sandy Dog, who historically likes aggressive decks. So we might just get run over here if he's actually just burn. Or we could draw Oko and win instead. Alright, opponent's on 5, so they're either unlucky or playing Tron. I probably should have fetched for a basic, just to thin it out a little bit, because I have so many lands. Bummer. Didn't need that 5th land. It's my fault for not fetching. Alright. Red fetch land. Is he burn? Sure looks like it. Yep. Karn is not what we're looking for against burn. We can pretend we have Rebuke for a turn. Just bluff it. The good news is my hand does not take any damage from Eidolon of the Great Revel. Mono 4 drops over here, son. Alright, let's draw an Engineered Explosives. Please and thank you. Alright, so I'm going to fetch in the end step. Get a dual land while it's free. Spell I can cast? Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to elk my Astrolabe. Try to stem these beats. And that plays straight into Searing Blaze. But if they have Searing Blaze, then that means one of their 3 cards in hand also has to be a land to get full value. Alright. All of those things happened. Alright, is their last card Lava Spike? Because if it is, I'm dead. Jesus. Okay. They had the turn 3 Goldfish through an Oko. So, good job. The Mull to 5, turn 3 Goldfish through an Oko. Alright, bummer. Alright, so I'm just bringing in these removal spells. Karn is not for this matchup, and Chalice is real bad. And I'm going to play the rest of it as is. Alright, we're on the play, and our hand has turned to Oko, so I'm going to snap keep this. So the great thing about being on the play is this doesn't even get broken up by Smash to Smithereens. They'd have to have sort of some kind of 1-mana Shatter effect. And if I draw Emery or Goose right now, I can also just play it. Or I could also play another Astrolabe if I draw it. So I have a bunch of redraws that could just come straight into play. Alright, I didn't hit any of them. I'm going to slow roll these cards in my hand. I don't want them... Not like Burn gets to actually plan or make decisions in Magic, but I don't want them to be able to plan or make any decisions with extra information. Alright, up a card. Which is great, because our whole hand's about to come into play. Alright, so this... This... this, and I think I just food straight up. Now that I'm making extra artifacts, I can crack this bauble without turning off Opal. I just want to make sure that my artifacts survive this turn before I turn it off. If they have like Bolt for Oko, then he's dead, but then he gained me 9. So that's a good card for turn 2. So Swift Spear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they have a Bolt, they can kill Oko. It has to be an actual Bolt, though. Like, Lava Spike doesn't do it. Okay. Oko gained me 10 life this game. Bauble on top of my deck. Smash is on top of their deck. Good to know. That's a lot of baubles. A lot more than I need. So I already know it's on top of their deck, but I want to try to draw some more interaction before it's too late. I'm just going to reload here. Alright, so I can counter this one. They do have one card in their graveyard. I guess I should let it resolve, let the trigger happen, and then just kill it. That's a better system. Alright, so they're going to get a trigger off the first Goblin Guide. We'll see what happens. Alright, it was a land, so I can let the second trigger happen. That one was Oko. All right. So I do not want to shuffle my deck. I do want to kill this thing. It's a little awkward because they could smash to smithereens my food right now, and I kind of have to shuffle. All right. So we get to keep Oko around. All right, so what am I going to do with this Oko? I can elk this food. I think I want to elk the Astrolabe. All right, Astrolabe's an elk. Let's see if they smash it in response. That's a reason to target food. If they're going to smash to smithereens my elk in response to me making it, then it's effectively like gain 6 if they target food, because I can just sack it, gain 3, and then it fizzles their smash. I'm willing to believe I messed that up. But we'll see what they do. Okay, so my elk's stuck. That's exciting. Alright, so that turns off Opal. I'm going to get a basic and jam Emery here. Okay, so now Drown in the Loch is in my graveyard, and so is Cryptic Command. So I can start looping with Mystic Sanctuaries. I hope this is Smash and not Searing Blaze. FML. Alright. Okay, they went after Emery, which is interesting. It either means they have 2 removal spells or exactly 1, which doesn't actually tell me anything, because obviously that's true. Lightning Bolt, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if they smash this, am I dead? All right. I'm not dead. They can clear out the other Oko, though. Oh, this is awkward now. Oh, wait, they just went face? That's so much better. Is it better? I don't... Yeah, I'll just Sanctuary for Cryptic now. Then I think I have to make this into an elk this turn and try to start gaining life and shit next turn. And tenuous situation here. I like when they play a land. Alright, I'll block this. Then if they cast a spell, I can counter it and bounce Swift Spear. Means I can't fetch this turn, but that's fine. Pretty sure I have to get hungry now. Let's see what they're gonna draw. We can make some decisions. Alright, Scalding Tarn is fine. See if they crack in the end step. Alright, so I'll let them draw their Tarn. See if they crack again. If they crack again, I'll just gain 3 life. Okay, so I'm going to gain 3. I'll fetch back down to 2. Get the other Mystic Sanctuary. Put Drown in the Lock on top. And I draw Drown in the Lock right now. I'm gonna need to sneak a Black Source into play at some point. I think if we get another main phase, we're gonna be okay. See if they can burn me out right now. Sure hope not. Looks like it's likely to happen though. Now I'm at 5. Okay, so we know that the cards in their hand are not instants or we'd be dead. We're still dead to Searing Blaze. Skewer. Okay, they're skewering my creature and attacking my face. Alright, so now I can fetch the Watery Grave. I got a second Drown. So I have to figure out how I'm winning this game. So if I play Explosives for 1, then I can make a food. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill Swift Spear right away. Make a food. And gain life right away. So they have to resolve 2 spells against me, and they know I have at least 1 counterspell. They've been hanging in there pretty good. I thought we would have locked this up a long time ago, but let's keep on smashing. Alright, Mountain Go is... that's my speed. Okay, sweet. Astrolabe is a good one. Because that turns on Opal. And then we can have Double Drown in the lockup. Or it is a black source itself, but it also turns on Opal. Alright, now the Goose is loose. Alright, I feel like we just turned the corner. I'm not going to get fancy with my foods. When the coast is clear to gain life, I'm going to do it. Alright, we did it. Game 3. Alright, my plan is the same. Alright, so we're on the draw, and our hand is actually real good. I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to play... I could have turn 1 Goose. Yeah, I think Goose does the most on turn 1. I have to shock myself to do it. But I can... I have a lot of 1-drops. I have 4 1-drops in my hand, basically. I just have to decide what order I want to deploy them in. Suspended Rift Bolt. Okay, that makes me want to... What does that make me want to do? Do I want to hang the Goose out there, give him a juicy target, or make them go face with Astrolabe? I'm just going to get Goose in there. Because if they decide not to go after Goose, then I can cast 3 spells next turn, and if they go after it, then I effectively gain a life. This is the first game they didn't lead on a creature, though, so that's pretty exciting. And if they kept a hand that didn't have a 1-drop creature, that makes me think they have Eidolon. Alright, Searing Blaze, okay. Or they just have infinity spells and we're dead. But we'll see which one it is. Alright, Mox Opal was a good draw. Ooh. Well, if they have a Smash to Smithereens, they got the pick of the litter here. Searing Blaze also has a juicy target. I'm ready for creatures. I just hope they don't only cast spells this game. Okay, there's that Eidolon. Their hand did indicate they probably had that. Alright, so I could cast Engineered Explosives where X equals 4 but Sunburst is 2. That would save me 2 damage and clear the Eidolon, but then I wouldn't be able to... I would take 2 from combat and lose my whole turn anyway. So I'm just going to push it. And then spew my hand and graveyard into play. Alright, so there's a Searing Blaze there. And there's a breeding pool there. I don't want the breeding pool. Okay, so I'm going to draw 2. They're picking up Searing Blaze. Let's see if they slow rolled their land drop last turn in case they drew Searing Blaze, or if they just don't have one. Alright, there's Oko. Alright, so I could walk into Skullcrack here, but I think that's fine. Just force some interaction here on the end step. Okay. They had the Skullcrack. No sweat. Ooh, Urza. Alright, how do I sequence this turn? Alright, Mystic Sanctuary is going to put Cryptic Command on top. I know that's going to happen. Yes, and then if I cast Urza... Alright, so Mishra's Bauble is going to come into play. And then... here's Urza. And I can also cast Oko. I should tap Bauble for this, in case I need to Fatal Push. I'll create a food token. And I guess I should probably just gain 3 life right now. Don't want to get cracked again. Alright, so I don't have Fatal Push up, but I am at 8. And it's now or never for my opponent. You know, they could just have land, bolt, 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 or they could just die. I'll take it. Alright, so we're on the play for the first time in this league, and we're rewarded with a turn 2 Oko. So I'm going to keep my hand. Alright, so I'm going to play Explosives on 1, because it's free to sneak that in there. I'm playing around discard by doing this. So, like, even if they Thoughtseize me, they're still getting turn 2 Oko'd. And in case they're like Eldrazi-tron, this hand doesn't lose. Or they poison? Oh my god. I'm so excited. This is like my worst matchup, but at the same time, Elks. So I'm not going to pop my Mishra's Bauble yet, because there's a good chance this Oko is going to die. This deck does play a lot of giant growths. Yeah, this deck was both of my Modern losses at the NV. I went 6-2, lost to Infect 2 times, defeated everyone else. Right, here comes the Elf. There's the Groundswell. I'm glad that was Oko and not my face. Alright, so interesting decision here. Do I re-Oko? Or I could cast Emery and just blow my explosives. I think I like Emery. I found an Astrolabe. So I'm going to float blue, bauble them, and bust this. That removes their Elk. They're drawing a Forest, which is kind of a bummer, because I liked the idea of them taking damage for every spell they ever cast. But whatever. Now we have Engineered Explosives looping. So they're going to need to produce a Ink Moth Nexus, basically, to get around that. Because any creature threat they deploy is just going to die. Alright, so I'm going to go for Astrolabe. I could just cast Oko here. I'm going to get a little greedy. Spell Pierce, huh? Okay. I would not like to pay 2 for Spell Pierce. Here's my land drop, though. so I'm going to get Breeding Pool. I'm going to pay 2 life. And I'm going to cast a new Emery. Just stock that graveyard a little more. Alright, another Explosives, another Astrolabe. If I draw a land, it's Urza time. I don't know what's going on over there. They must just have a grip full of pump spells because like they could have cast Blighted Agent last turn. They would have made Moth Nexus if that was their land drop. Unless they're switching to life points. Uh-oh. Am I dead? 7. All right, they're on the life point plan. They're putting me to 6. Hope I'm not dead. Okay, that was a good draw. That lets me cast Urza, but does that do anything? So we know about the Disdainful Stroke, or the Distortion Strike. If I cast Oko, is there an Opal in my graveyard? There's not an Opal in my graveyard. So I'm going to cast this because it's better off in play than anywhere else. So Explosives only messes with non-lands, and this is a land, even if it's also a creature. Making it an elk doesn't do anything because it'll still just be an unblockable elk. So Astrolabe, if I cast Astrolabe, what am I looking for? Like Astrolabe is free because it turns on Opal, but Bauble actually makes mana. So if I cast Bauble, then I make Urza. I can't also make Oko this turn. I think I just have to make Urza and hope I'm not dead. Noble Hierarch. That's 3 total damage coming in. Let's just draw Metallic Rebuke. I guess I can't cast it anyway. Alright, just gotta hope we're not dead. They have 1 card in hand. Please don't be a pump spell. Though it probably is based on how they've played this game. God, it's become immense. Ugh. Alright, so cracking that fetch didn't matter. They had an extra 2 anyway, but that's brutal. Distortion Strike for the win. Like, we easily beat any other card. Alright, was there another way to play this game? I'm not sure. Like, none of my interaction messes with Dried Arbor, and they had the unblockability card, so I don't know. That was rough. Alright, so I'm bringing in these 9 cards, just 6 removal spells, 2 disruption spells, and Pithing Needle for the Moth Nexus. This is not a Karn matchup. Witching Well, Everflowing Chalice always get cut. Emery is a little slow. I like my counter spells. I like Oko. I like Goose. Explosives is good, but I don't know if we need all 3. And probably cut an Opal, because having a redundant card, like a dead card, just drawing a second legendary Opal, is pretty bad in this matchup. It's always bad, but it's extra bad in this one. And maybe Cryptic is the worst card that's left. Alright, we're on the play and our hand is great. In this matchup, we just have to be like Sultai control. And we have the Needle, we have removal, we have some ramp, Oko. This is a solid hand. And I feel a little like I'm tempting fate saying this, but our life total usually doesn't matter. So this mono shockland mana base should be okay. As post forward, we can actually kill a Dryad Arbor. Once Upon a Time. That card's in this deck now. Oko is also usually in this deck now. Just hope I get to jam mine on turn 2. Alright. Glistener Elf is in play. I think I would rather kill Glistener Elf and cast Emery than jam Oko right now. Or I guess I don't have to pick that yet. So I'm going to Needle, Ink Moth. And I'm going to cast Emery. And then I can just hold on to the Fatal Push. All right, both Mystic Sanctuaries got milled. That sucks. Story of my life. Like, I have 4 toughness worth of block in play right now. So if my opponent wants to run their Glistener Elf into that, I can just block with Goose. I don't care if it gets a -1 counter. So they have to act first if that's their plan. I could block with Emery to force some action. And then I can push off the food. I could have pushed and killed this on my main phase when I know it would resolve, but since I can produce this many blockers, I'd rather save this for a Blighted Agent, now that I have Inkmoth Nexus and Glistener Elf mostly covered. Oh dear. Alright. I'm going to block with Goose. So they probably have a way to protect this elf. But if they don't, it's dead. And if they do, I'm going to bait an extra spell out here. Alright, cool. That worked out much better than expected. Hierarch. Alright, it's super lame that we just got nothing to do here. Yes. I'll send a message. Yeah, Gilded Goose really is not just Birds of Paradise. It does a pretty good impression. In some instances, it's better, but in this particular instance, it is worse. Oh, God. Do I respect this? So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't think I do. No chance. My Goose is too important. All right, now we got some play here. I still don't think Oko's good, though. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up Cryptic Command. And I'm not attacking with Emery this time because if they have like end step Dismember and then kill me, I'm not into that. Uh-oh, here come the beats. Alright, my food are still saving me more, gaining more life than I'm taking here, so I'm not going to block. If they go for a pump spell, I'll bounce it with Cryptic. Alright, finally got something to do with Emery. Alright, so Blighted Agent on top of their deck. Not anymore. Fetching the Dryad Arbor. It's beatdown time. Alright, they're drawing Forest. Alright, so we have Urza next turn, which should put an end to all this shenanigans. Ooh, diversifying their threats. Clever. Okay, so I'm 4, 5, 6. Just gonna make the safe block. Let's see, do I die to become immense? Not if I pop my foods. I guess I don't have to pop my food now. That I can just let damage resolve. That was a good draw. Please don't have Mystical Dispute. Alright, they didn't have Mystical Dispute. That's a win. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I can still cast Cryptic even if I bobble them, so I definitely want to know what they're up to. Alright, they're up to Breeding Pool. Not worried about that one so much. These have been two really weird, scrappy games. Alright. I managed to navigate their 0 poison plan 1 out of 2 times. I think Explosives might be too good not to have in the deck. And Cryptic might actually just be bad. Alright, let's go. Alright, I have cantrips and interaction and lands. Let's see what they got. If they have the turn 2, we're just dead, but short of that, this hand's pretty solid. Alright, Noble Hierarch is not a Glistener Elf. I'll take that. That is a Glistener Elf, though. I'm going to fetch first to thin out some lands here. And just hope we don't get turn 2'd. Noble Hierarch. I don't think they can turn to us anymore. It takes 2 spells to do that, so should be okay, I hope. Alright, yeah, we're taking a big chunk of poison. I guess they could have mutagenic growths, like 2 of them. That card is legal in the format, but not really played in the deck anymore. Alright, so we can trophy this poison threat. Oh, sweet. Now we can sneak an Astrolabe in also. Opal was a good draw, as usual. Gonna have to fetch Breeding Pool here. Then green, black, get that out of here. Take a peek. Once Upon a Time. That card's a lot worse when it's not free, but it's still pretty good. Alright, didn't need that. Yeah, we're in a super tight poison race here. Like, already having 6. That attack's pretty interesting. So, we're dead to Spell Pierce. Ugh. Please don't have Spell Pierce. Nice. Yeah, if they use like Blossoming Defense or Vines here, that's okay-ish because at least they're not using it on their turn. But now they just need to produce 2 power at all. Like, we know one of their cards is Once Upon a Time. Let's just hope that they're afraid of Fatal Push. Though if they have it, they have to go for it. Alright. Still alive. Another agent. Oh god, they have so many threats. I don't think we're going to win this one, team. Grafdigger's Cage, huh? Does that even do anything? Like, have I done anything out of my graveyard yet? I don't think so. That's really awkward. Ooh. Ugh, none of this matters. Yeah, if I turn this one into an elk and this one, they still have 2 poison here, even with this absolute mulligan. Yeah, I don't have time to fetch this Assassin's Trophy's back on top. I guess I could... Nope. None of it matters. I could, like, trade one of my cards for Blighted Agent, but they still have 2 more threats. Just... I needed one of these 4 cards not to be the millionth land. And my life total is irrelevant. Oh shit, I forgot to even activate the first Oko. Alright, yeah, it didn't matter. I was going to try to, like, steal one of them, elk another, and just bluff Fatal Push, but it's not like they're not going to attack, so... Yeah, that didn't matter. I just had nothing. Alright, once again proving that this deck only loses to Infect. That was a pretty good run. And every matchup felt insane except Infect. Like, Burn was a little close in spots, but like, Burn is one of the tougher matchups, but Oko is just bananas there. Then Infect, obviously super tough. We played a really weird match, but they managed to thread the needle there. But really love this list. I'm probably going to try to replace Everflowing Chalice with something, because a card that is like that mostly irrelevant, like, it basically exists in the main deck to be an artifact and then get sideboarded out. Like, that doesn't seem like a good slot. But the rest of these cards are great. So I know some people are only playing 2 Damping Sphere and they have the 4th Engineered Explosives in the sideboard. And what that does is it lets you wish for explosives off Karn in game 1. So it's an effective, like, 6 explosives in your deck. And it's also, like, the 4th one you can bring in a matchup like Infect, where you would be cutting Karns for removal anyway. Like, that's a thing you can do. If you expect Infect in your meta, you can add more Fatal Push. But I feel like 8 ways to interact with them is plenty. It just has to line up right. You can't draw 7 lands. But that's the deck. I'm kind of in love with it. I'm excited to play. I'm probably going to play at least 73 of this 75 in Columbus at the Grand Prix this coming weekend. And I hope to see you there. Thanks for watching. As always, make sure to hit that sub button and follow me on Twitter at Bosch and Roll.